Shambho Mahadeva. So we were described about Bhuma. Now even though the last paragraph of Bhuma, to make it much more clearer, repeating that properly. Maharshi said about the relativity of things. Everything in this universe is related to each other. Each one is dependent on something else. There is nothing which is known as independent. So it's relative. So we have to very clearly understand this. The relativity of things is the support of the things in this world. Even the world itself is supported by something. Universe itself is supported by something. Each and every planetary system is supported by something. So starting from a small, minute, sukshma, which is the subtlest of subtle, the matra, tanmatra, from that, the grossest thing is all supported by each other. So there's nothing called which is independent. So long there is a principle of relativity, we should also understand very carefully. So long there is the principle of relativity, that which is related to will have to depend upon in which it is being related, and also the ones which are related to will have certain characteristics of that in which it is related. Alright? So there is, that's called the relativity. If there are certain common factors are not there, the relativity is why we are calling it as relativity. There will be a common factor in both of them. So that is the one which I say that it has to have the same characteristics. Sharira is with Panchabhutas, related to Panchabhutas. The proportion of the Panchabhutas in the Sharira will be on a certain proportion, that's different. But they are dependent on Panchabhutas. So if that is related to Panchabhutas, Sharira will have to have the characteristics of the Panchabhutas. And they have. So everything is hanging on something else. Without being supported, nothing can remain in this universe. The universe itself cannot remain without a support or without a relation. That's called the relationship. This is how in the human being is also the characteristics and habit of relationship has come, the dependency has come. Thus dependency is very high. You are dependent on this or dependent on that, dependent on God, dependent on this, even God, you are dependent on God. This dependency is the characteristics of that which is the universe. So the relativity or relative is the principle that makes it non-independent. The other way around. That's the one which makes it non-independent. If it is independent, there cannot be a birth, there cannot be a death. They are related with something, is why one is born and one is dead. The relativity is that depending upon the karmas. the previous karmas, is the relations why one is born and dead. That which is existing in this world is all dependent upon existence. Those which are existing, they are dependent on existence. They are all manifestations. The existence, existing, those which are existing are manifested from the existence. It's a very big chapter. No, you have to spend a lot of time on this. Then only details. Taittiriya Upanishad also explains about the Swabhava of Brahman. Same thing, more or less. So the Brahman or the Bhuma, what we are mentioning here is that which is self-sufficient, self-supported, self-complete and self-existent. It's only a term which makes us more complicated according to me. When we call it as, always a doubt arises when it is called self-sufficient, self-supported, self-complete and self-existent. Now because mind always looks for the meaning of the self. Self-existent, self-complete, self-supported, omnipresent, omnipotent, has got a different. It's a paryaya of that actually. Self-supported means omnipresent, omnipotent, self-existent, omnipotent. It's everywhere. Self here is that which is indefinable actually. What is that self? The self is not the AHAM. What we call AHAM is not the I or the I-ness. Me and minus and I-ness is not what it means there. The one which is self-supported in the sense what? It's not supported by anything. So what is the self? Self is nothing. It is only a word, a sound which is used for one to understand, it is independent. He has not used the word Brahman is independent. He has used self-supported, self-complete, self-sufficient, self-existent or self-complete. He has used the word self-sufficient. He has not used the word independent. Why? Why? Why we did not say easy? These are all dependent. That whatever is the universe and that what our things are there in the universe, they are all dependent, relative, related, and this is manifestation. Is called dependency, manifestation, manifested from the existence, but the existence or the Brahman is independent, one can say, is it not? Why he did not use that word? He said self-supported, because the moment you use the word independent, not dependent is independent. So the dependency comes there. There is something which is dependent, something which is not dependent. What by meaning of self-sufficient or self-supported or existent, he means that there is nothing other than that which is existing in this universe. When there is something, then only one can say independent. They are all that. There is nothing other than that is why the word independent has not been used. This has to be very carefully understood. If this is not understood, one will not understand the Upanishadic text of the Brahman, self-sufficient. Otherwise, always we will look for who is this self. Here, the self-sufficient or self-existent or self-supported and self-completed, he means by that it's complete by itself, existent by itself, sufficient by itself. That means, if it is sufficient by itself, there is nothing which is called insufficient. If it is complete by itself, there is nothing called incomplete. If it is self-existent by itself, there is nothing which is supported to the existence. There is nothing. Is why these words have been used. The self, even though superfluous, but it is used for the purpose of identifying and negating. This is used for negating the usage of the word of dependency and independency, because it's by itself. To be is why this word has been used. So that's the importance of it. It's not wrong. It's absolutely right. There is no other way to express it. Therefore, it is non-relative in every sense of term. As I told you, it is omnipresent and omnipotent. Where is this complete staying? He asked the question, where is it? The question where implies the existence of space, not existence in space, existence of space. The space is also existence. So where means an implied meaning. Everywhere there is an implied meaning. In Ishwaratva also in an implied meaning. When I talk about that, in Taittiriya Upanishad also it explains, Taittiriya Upanishad, same thing about the Brahman. What is Brahman? Taittiriya, we have taken the Taittiriya, don't know whether we remember. What is Brahman? Brahman, if you make a chart, Brahman, there are 3 bifurcations. What is Brahman? To explain that, satyam, jnaanam, Anantham. Satyam, jnaanam, Anantham. Again you make details of satyam. Satyam is, it's not truth. The reality of the truth is called truth, satyam. Understand? The reality of the truth is called satyam, which is known as the inherent subtle quality of the satyam, inherent quality of the, or inherent characteristics of the satyam is called sat. Sat doesn't have a sat. That's called the, what is that? that subtleness of the satyam. What is that sat? Satyam is that which is not bound by time, space and vastu. Time, space, samaya, kala and sadhana. Vastu is sadhana. Samaya, kala. Samaya. No, that's called time. Time is not the time. It's not bound by samaya, kala, space, samaya and kala, samaya and vastu. It is not dependent on, satyam is not dependent on any object. Satyam is not dependent on the space. Satyam is not dependent on the time. Sat. It's not bound by anything else. It's called Sat. Sat is beyond any of these things. Sat is that reality of the truth. As I told you, reality of the truth is called Sat. Yes. Always created that, that implied meaning. When I said implied meaning, then only this comes. There's an implied meaning is always there. What is a Sat? What is Sat? That's called implied. Like I said, he bought a banana. 2, he ate the banana. Okay? Actually, two are two different things. Two are two totally different things. One, he bought a banana, is that when he bought the banana was complete with the skin and that inside the flesh and the stem or whatever is there is what he bought. But you are talking, he bought a banana and you are telling he ate the banana. The meaning is implied that he did not eat the skin and the stem. The meaning is that only that what is eatable in banana only has been consumed by him. It's called implied. Same way Satya is like that. The reality of the truth is that it is inherent, it is implied. There is a table made of wood. Table is a manifestation. We have already discussed about this, I think, earlier. Table is a manifestation, shape and form. Manifestation is a shape and form of wood. Any table is wood. I mean, wooden table. Okay. Any table is wood, but they are all differently manifested, different shapes and forms. Writing table, dining table. Various names have been given to that. You see. But what is all that? The Sat is that in that is the wood. Wood is the Sat. So, we don't classify wooden table. No, even whenever you say table, implied the meaning is that. But the Sat inside, which is inherent in everything, is the wood. So it is not bound by any Kala, Desha, Vastu. Kala, Desha, Vastu, Samaya, time, space and material, matter. It is not bound by any of this. Is called Sat. Immeasurable they are. Inscrutable, immeasurable. Sat. Jnanam. Satyam. Jnanam. Chittam. Satyam is, Jnanam is Chittam. The inherent property of the Jnanam is what? Chit. No expansion, no contraction. That's what it is. By itself, it is complete. What Chit? Jnanam. Jnanam is not depending upon something. Jnanam is not learnt from something. Jnanam is not learnt for something. Jnanam is not derived by anything. Jnanam is by itself is Jnanam. It is not learnt, it is revealed, they said. Jnanam is not learnt. Jnanam is not educated. Jnanam is not taught. Jnanam is not preached. Jnanam is revealed. The revelation, that which can be revealed, means that which is a truth. Again the truth. Sat is chit. Chit is sat. Again. You got to understand. Now, they are not different, that's what I am saying. Why the Brahman? It's only bifurcation into three. Again, Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. When you go into subtleness of it, if you go into Sukshma, we are all looking at it only at the Sukshma, very small. Sthula Bhava when it comes. Sthula is macrocosm. In macrocosm it's Brahman. Everything is Brahman. In that Sukshmata has come. Okay. So it is Jnanam. Jnanam is knowledge. Jnanam is knowledge. You can say knowledge is chitta. Chitta. Chittam is that Chaitanyam. From Chittam, Chaitanyam also comes. Chetana comes, from Chetana Chaitanyam comes. Everything is made of the words. There are words to make you understand. What is Chaitanyam? The one who has got Chitta has got Chaitanyam. Who can bless you? The one who has got Chaitanyam. Who is the one who has got Chaitanyam? Who has got Chitta. What is Chitta? Jnanam. Jnanam of what? Jnanam of what? Jnanam of Jnanam. The knowledge of the knowledge. That's why self-sufficient, self-existent, self-complete and self-supported. Jnanam is supported by Jnanam, is self-supported, is why it is known as. I am just clarifying that into this. So this is called God, the realization of God when it comes, it's there in Taittiriya Upanishad. God is Brahman. God is consciousness. God is Jnanam, is it? God is satyam. God is Jnanam. God is Chaitanyam. God is also Anantham. That we are coming to. So this is called the Brahman. In Vedanta, the God has been used, the word, as I told you in the last class, I think, the God is told by the religion. The same thing has been explained as Brahman in the Upanishads. Yes. It's Brahman. So next is the knowledge. So satyam, jnanam, and then the Anantham. Anantham is that which doesn't have a beginning nor an end. Anything manifested has a beginning and end. Date of manufacturing, date of expiring. Both are always there. Let it be wood, let it be human, let it be insect, let it be akasha, let it be anything that is there which is visible to your eye. That whichever is visible to your eye, they are all manifested. I have explained it in the previous class. That which is visible is all manifested. Because you can see only those which are manifested, because you yourself is a manifestation. The one who is a manifestation can see only manifested, that limited consciousness. Beyond that is unlimited consciousness. So which is known as Analpam. We said Alpam and Analpam when we explained this. Anantham. Anantham is that Anantham, where there is no anta. If there is no anta, there is no beginning also. Is implied on that again, and it is an inference drawn when there is no anta, there is no beginning. It is that's why it's only told Anantham. Anadi, Anantham has not been explained. It's not necessary. because it is that inference has to be drawn. It is Anadi and Anantham. This Anantham is also, when it is Anantham, when one identifies it is Anantham, which doesn't have a beginning, which doesn't have an end, that means it is unmanifested. All that is manifested has got a Adi and Anta, beginning and end. The ones which are unmanifest has no Adi Anta. Yes, the unmanifest is that which is existence, that existing. Yes. Where is that existence come? There is again there, that means it's much more higher, we will go later. Anadi Anantham. That which is not a beginning, not end. Now I'm concising them. Now why even bifurcated, we got to now divide it into various principles, and we have a detailed study of that. Now all these are only for the purpose of analysis and understanding. But this analysis and understanding is meant for what? To derive and understand the meaning of Brahman. One word. Anantham, which is Anadi, which is Ananta, which is Ananta, which doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end, which is not controlled by any time, space and vastu. Again, Anantham also is not controlled by anything, which is not controlled by anything, and that which is not controlled by anything is also known as jnaanam. Jnanam has no Adi Anta. So, the chit, Anantham is, in Anantham, when there is Adi, when there is Anta, there is suffering, there is thinking, there is karma, there is execution of karma, there is karma phala, there is experiencing, there is no experiencing, and end of experiencing. Everything comes in that beginning and end. When there is no Adi and there is no Anta, neither these Kashta Dukha Adi experiences are there, none of them are there. When none of them are there means this is akarma, a status of akarma. And this status of akarma can be experienced only when you have jnanam. And in that place what happens? When you have akarma, when there is no adi, when there is no anta, when there is no kashta, when there is no dukkha, when there is no experience, there is no experience at all. Then feelings are not there, experience is not there, senses are not there, sensory system is not there, and karma phala is not there, and attachment is not there, attraction is not there. None of them are involved in it. When Adi and Anta is there, this all comes between the Adi and Anta only, because they all can function only when in a perception of Adi and Anta, in a perception of the beginning and end. When there is a beginning and end, then only it can function. In a table, from the time the wood has been cut and made, it has to undergo the experiences of that what is happening to the table. But when it was not manifested and it was a form of the tree had a different experience, not at all the experience of the table. Both are wood. But the experience of the table is totally different because it has got an Adi and Anta. Tree has got a different experience because it has an Adi and Anta again. When there is no tree, it is in the seed form, it doesn't have any of those experiences of the tree in the form of the seed. Right? And when the seed was not there, none of them were there. Where the seed has come, related to, from existence. Manifestation from the existence is seed. Where is the first seed has come? This was questioned by me long back. Where has this first tree came? Where did the first seed come from? Again, a manifestation. Where did it come? Why did it manifest? Why should it manifest? Is another question. So there are lots of explanations. It's only the beginning of in the Vedanta we are knowing now. See. Why should it manifest a seed? Who manifested the seed? Now, who is that? Why should manifestation should happen at all? There are all questions. We will try to little answer of all these things so that you get an idea of it. In detail, we have to travel beyond that in the Brihadaranya and other Upanishads. As I told you, Sannyasa Upanishad is there, and beyond that, so many are there. Okay. Well, this, I'm talking about the Brahman. So what happened? Satyam, jnaanam, Anantham, we said. Sat, chit, ananda. When there is Anantham, when there is no kashta, when there is no dukkha, when there is no experience, when there is no karma, when there is no karma phala, when there is no attachment, when there is no attraction, what do you have?
Anantham.
Status of Anandam. Is it happiness? No. Is it pleasure? No. Not that. Don't classify it as that. Don't lower grade it. Anandam is a status which is permanent, which is not dependent on anything. Independent. By itself. Ananda is a status by itself, as we said, Brahman by itself, or the consciousness by itself. Anandam is by itself. When they are not there, it is there. When these kashta, dukkha, experience and karma phala, attachment, attraction and bandhana, nibandhana, all these things are there, Anandam is not there. Pleasure may be there, but Anandam is not there. When they are not there, Anandam is there because that Anandam, status of Ananda is that Anadi, Ananta. When Anadi and Ananta is that Ananda is the status of that. So now when you look at it, what is the difference between satyam, what is the difference in jnanam, what is Anandam, all are same. Even though they are separately classified. Satya, chitta, ananda. This is equal to Brahman. Now, where is Brahman situated? Self-supported, self-complete, self-sufficient, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. From which everything comes, the manifestation comes. I'll tell you one question of the higher studies of this. Somebody asked that why Brahman should manifest at all. We can keep quiet, is it not? If it is by itself. Why all these problems? Why manifestation? Why manifestation of satyam? Why jnanam? Why this? Manifestation is a swabhava of manifestation is a swabhava of Brahman. That's why it is known as swabhava. The word swabhava is only should be used for Brahman, but we all use it for us. For anything, we call it as a swabhava. It has a similarity. That's why this word is used for us. Swabhava, Brahman by itself, when it is in the status of absolute jnanam, when he is, what is sat? Sat is pure pure consciousness. What is jnanam? Pure consciousness. What is Anantham? Is also pure consciousness. Everything is pure consciousness. That is that purity of everything. Satya chitta anantam. Absolute truth, absolute knowledge, absolute happiness. When it is absolute truth, absolute knowledge, absolute happiness is absolute of everything. Absolute of everything is the Brahman. That's it. They are absolute. There cannot be three absolutes. There cannot be three first. Is it not? There cannot be three first. First is only one. There cannot be three. So when it is three, that is, they are all same. That's called the Brahman. What I was telling, yes, while he manifests what is called the Swabhava. We ourselves, let us think that, let us presume that we are not doing anything. We are not doing anything, just closing the eyes and sitting. We manifest so many things, is it not? When you don't have a work, suppose all your pending jobs are finished, all your work, what has to be done has been completed, you have no problem, you have got everything, you bought everything and you don't have any desire. But still if you sit there, you will be manifesting something. Why not? I tried this. Because there is nothing else to do. We say no. We also say that since he has nothing else to do, he is doing all this. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना just because he has nothing else to do, he is doing it. Now you see, manifestation is a Swabhava. You understood? I am just giving an example of similarity in human beings. So, in anything and everything that's why we have got that Swabhava. From where? From Brahman. But Brahman manifests for Satya, Chitta, Ananda, but we manifest so many other things. Because that which is manifested will create manifestations, that which is unmanifest will create unmanifest. Satya, Chitta, Ananda is unmanifest. So his reflections, they are all reflections. Anything that is self-sufficient, self-efficient, self-complete, self-existent will always project something. When there is a lamp, you light a lamp doesn't want to give prakasha. Because the fire is the Swabhava of the fire is to give prakasha, prakasha automatically comes. You don't have to say to the light, give me light. No. Or we don't have to do anything else to get a light from that. You just set fire. That's all. No? That's enough. Same way. That which is existence will have automatically a Swabhava of the manifestation. Anything that has come from the even Satya, Chitta, Ananda compared to Brahman is a manifestation. Even though they are unmanifest, they are also dependent. That's why. That which is not dependent, self-sufficient, is called Brahman. That which is not at all dependent, that's why self-sufficient, self-supported. Now you get the clarity of it now. What is a Brahman? This is Brahman. Yes. That which is not supported. That's why he has not said non-dependent has not been used, has been used as the self, even though it is sufficient. If I say it is sufficient, it is complete, it is, it is supported, it is existence. It is existence. Is the right usage, but then self is added to emphasize that, look, don't add dependency to that. That's why. There's nothing which is dependent on. That is why this has been added. This is called, the last paragraph, I thought I must clarify it a little further because we were in the last class. So that is called the that's why I said it is Swayam. No? Swayam. Swayam is not dependent on anything. Swa. When I say I is not dependent on anything. I means alone, you see. That also implies that meaning. You can derive that the meaning of the Brahman in that. That's why the I has been used. AHAM has been used. AHAM also implies that meaning. AHAM is that AHAM, that which is not something else, is AHAM. What is AHAM? That which is not something else is AHAM. That which is not someone else is AHAM. No. I is not someone else. I is not something else, is AHAM. This is called AHAM. Does it mean some unit? No. That which is independent is AHAM. That which is not dependent on something, someone, some object, space, kala, desha and vastu is AHAM. AHAM is that. So AHAM can be addressed only to that. That is why Bhagavan Krishna has addressed himself in Bhagavad Gita. I also told this, no? Do you mean say that who is eligible to say Aham? The one who is totally surrendered to that is only Aham. That's why Aham is not being used. Aham can be used. When you have the revelation, when you have the consciousness of the higher consciousness, when you have the absolute, the Brahma Sachatkaram, then you can use Aham. I also told this, there are so many, even today I don't understand, maybe they are right, I'm not criticizing, I'm asking you rather. Maybe I'm wanting certain clarification, probably some of you must be knowing. Some of the Swamijis when they speak, they will always say, they will not say, I am telling you or I have told you, let me explain you, like we normally say. He doesn't say that. He said, Swami would like to explain you. Swami is wanting to tell you, even some of, any missionaries also, I have heard, I don't want to name any of them. Some of the missionaries, very well-known missionaries also, some of them they said Swami, they address themselves as Swami. They don't call it as I. They don't say I. But when a Swami means Yajaman. What is Swami? Swami is Yajaman. Yajaman is what? That who is superior to everyone, everything, is Yajamana. Yajamana is the head of family. In us, in a family, Yajamana is head of family. In a puja, the one who is conducting the puja, he says Yajamana. Adhyaksha is Yajamana. Adhyaksha. The one who is in Adhyaksha sthanam is Yajamana. Yajamana in the case of universe, Brahman is Yajamana. You see? That's the Swami. When I am telling that Swami, then I am telling that it is Brahman or Yajamana or someone or me, myself, looking at something else. Dvaita Siddhantam, my interpretation. I don't know, I am thinking about it since so many days. Sometime, not always. Whenever it comes, I just start thinking about it. Should it be said that? Why should be one conscious that I am saying? When I say I am saying, why not say? Why he says Swami is telling, not Swami is thinking. He may be right, they may be having their own explanations. I am looking for it, actually. They might say that, I don't want to tell myself, limit myself as the I or that individual of this Sharira, Mana. That may be the explanation. What else can be the explanation? That he doesn't want to address himself as I, this Sharira, this Mana, this Atma is not that. He said Swami. Either it is somebody else or Swami who is the Yajamana of everything is Swami. When it is Yajamana of everything which is Swami, it can be Aham. It can be Aham. It can be I. That ego. Here that ego is different. Ego means, ego is only meant for addressing a particular activity by a particular unit at that point of time addressing himself as someone is called an ego for executing that karma. Okay. You won't agree with me? Or you won't? You don't know now. Let me tell you a small example. Postman comes to the post office, takes the letter, he delivers the letter. Yes. He is a postman when he is executing that job. He knocks at the door. Who is there? Postman has come. Swami has come. Postman has come. Delivered the letter, 5 o'clock, his time is up, goes back home. His son will not call him postman. Will his son call him postman? Son will call him father. So, when that position, whichever position, or when you are, so when postman I said just a simple thing. Same way, it applies to all the designations, whatever you mean. Whether it is father, mother, son, husband, wife, child, this. They are all specified for that particular karma. This is what is called the ego that is necessary for executing a particular karma. Whoever is doing an execution of karma, there has to be an ego center, there has to be an ego. That ego is an ego for identification of execution of karma, and also that's very necessary. That is why this ego center has been provided in the human being. The false ego is known as the ahankara. Even this also is ahankara. Ahokara, ahamkara. Ahamkara. For the purpose of kritaha. Kara means what? Karya. Kara is that in order to execute something, aham can be used. Is ahankara. That ahankara is there. But pretension of that aham is what we generally call as ahankara. That's called the pretension is the proud of that. Ahankara or the ego. We call it as a false ego or something like that. It's called a false ego. That's why it is known as a false ego. It's a good ego, right ego and false ego. The right ego is that when a prani, when a jivatma is born, that ego is necessary, that ego center is necessary in order to execute his karma. It's a manifestation, no doubt. Let it be a manifestation. In a manifestation, there is a manifestation. Tomorrow I cannot call the table as wood. Tomorrow also, even after having known about the Upanishadic studies, for a table I will call only table because it is a manifestation by me. Right? Nothing wrong. So long, your consciousness always prevails in you that it is wood only. The table, what I am calling, is only that shape and form whom I am calling to, but everything is that wood. This consciousness has to be there. I told you some time back, long back, when you are executing a karma, when the Guru is present in your self, everything will move on in presence of that as you are witnessing it. Same way, the consciousness of the knowledge, the jnaanam of the Brahman is there. When you have that, other things are all will move because you have a manifested state now. You having a sharira and mana and indriyas, you are in the status of the manifested. Yes. Now you have to overcome the status of manifested by identifying and understanding the truth, satya, chitta, ananda, and then evolve yourself into the higher consciousness. Then only you will be in a position to be in the higher consciousness. Till the time you are in the higher consciousness, you become the higher consciousness. You have to be aware of the higher consciousness and practice as the one who is has a higher consciousness in the status of manifested. Am I clear? That's what is called a sannyasi. A rishi, tapasvi, jnani, guru, or a sannyasi who has a sharira and mana, who is living in this world as a manifested shape and form, but his consciousness is in the higher states of consciousness of the Brahma Sakshatkaram. Even we call it as a duality or Dvaita Siddhanta. It is, as far as he is concerned, he is not in Dvaitam at all, because even though he is having a Sharira, he is fully conscious that Sharira is a manifestation of me for a particular cause, for a particular purpose. If that inherent knowledge is there, he will be able to see the unmanifest or the Brahman, or we call it as God. It's called revelation of the knowledge. It's why revelation. Till then it is not revealed. You're only adding on something else. It's not a revelation. It's called the, am I clear? I'm just wanting to establish the fact of the Brahman, which is the truth. And this truth has to be not to be understood, it has to be perceived in the right sense, and also have to be experienced in the right way. And this knowledge will help you in meditating, through which you will be in a position. All these are necessary. Puja, meditation, learning of Upanishad, understanding these things are all necessary for the purpose of, for us to have an easy transcendence facility. Is it necessary? No. It is not necessary. Because transcendence is not dependent on any of these things. But they will all make it easier for you to transcend. There is a tool, why not I use it? From here to Kaligat temple I can walk. I will reach there, no doubt. When there is a way, car there, should I not use it? Easier. Something like that. So they are all physical, because certain times what happens, you may not reach there walking. Because on the way, that Hotel Raj comes. So instead of Kaligat, you will land in Hotel Raj. After eating those unwanted things, you are already unwell. Then you will decide to come back, forgotten that. Say, okay, it's already late. You'll go next day. This can happen. Is why the right direction, right path, right experiences, they are all necessary. From the manifested to unmanifest, turn from the manifested to unmanifest. There is certain kind of discipline, certain kind of processes. If you follow, it will become easier for us. That's all. This is very necessary. There are so many people who are interested in Siddha Yoga, so many people in Kundalini Yoga, so many people in there are so many Tantra Yoga, Tantra Vidya. There are so many people who are interested in lot of Vidya. They are all manifested from the jnaanam. They are all manifested from the jnaanam. They would like to attain only a portion of the manifested area, but they are still in the manifestation. Ultimately, for each and everyone, they have to come out of the status of the manifested to unmanifest, because that's the truth. Till then, there is a dependency. Till one is independent, till one is free, that's called liberation. The word itself says Kaivalya. Till you get the Kaivalya, you will have to keep on doing it. That's all. That's why we call it as liberation. Mukti, moksha, we say. Moksha from everything, not moksha from this, that. Is called God, is called Brahman, is called consciousness, is called the highest form of whatever you call it, power. Section 25. Is it clear? That is, I just wanted to, I think that was necessary, I felt. So that's the Ishwaratva. So from that, God only, from the Brahman only is called the God, what we call as God. This Satya, Chit, Anantham, or Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, can say in any manner. That will be known as Ishwara. The other one will be known as the God. This is Ishwara. Okay. Well, that's another theory is there, and we are not going into that. What I was looking for is that so somebody said in one of the Upanishad, or I think the Upanishad only maybe, it explains about the existence of the self and existence of everything. That what I have explained to you. Sarva bhuteshu atmanam, sarva bhuteshu atmanah. Sarva bhuteshu manam, sarva bhuteshu atmanah. In one sentence, he has told that this, whatever I explained to you, this is called the Atman, this is called the Brahman. Sarva bhuteshu atmanam, sarva bhuteshu. Okay, now comes to the ego and the self, or the AHAM, in the 25th shloka. Bhagavan says, Sa evadastat sa uparishtat sa paschast purastat dakshinada sa uttarada sa eveda sarvamityathato ahankarakadesha evahamevadasta tastadaham uparishtadaham paschadaham purastadaham dakshinato ahadum uttarado ahamaveda sarvamiti sa evadasa uparishtat paschat. He is describing about the differences. I told you about the what is it and what is I and what is the same thing. Sa eva. He indeed is below Uparishtata, Pusaputashasta. He indeed is below, he indeed is above. He on the left, he on the right, he on the dakshina, he on the uttara, he on the... If you go down below, you will find it. What is that? He is down there means if you go down, you will find it. If you go up, you will find it. You will find it there, you will find it here, you will find it behind, you will find it on the left, you will find it on the right, you will find it on the dakshina, you will find it on the uttara. O Narada, Mahadev Rishi, what can I tell you about it? The whole cosmos is filled by it. What does it mean? Upar hai, niche hai, left hai, right hai, everywhere. It is there everywhere, is what we say. Again a term, you have to think now after learning Upanishad, you have to start thinking in a different way. You cannot think like this. Even though this is mentioning that, We cannot say Brahman is everywhere. That is why I taught you one sentence. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman. It is not Brahman is everywhere. Sarvam Brahman. Everything is Brahman. That's all. It's not that there is now here. That's what he's trying to explain us, I think. So initially he has to start like that. It is there, it is here, it is there, it is everywhere. Sarvato Mukha. Sarvato Mukha. All these things that you see with your eyes are nothing but configuration of its own being. Hey Devrishi, are you satisfied with this? Doubt may arise in the minds of people. Grammatically, the word it implies third person. I, he, it. It's a third person. Is it then a third person other than me? No, it is a subject only that is doubting thus. This is a very important chapter again. He's describing about what is AHAM. What the chapter itself is ego and the self, AHAM. AHAM is that word which is used, is that ego. And that ego is AHAM. Ego is self. And what is that self? I always told you last time also what is self. Self is only classification of explanation for independency. That means by itself. It's nothing which is not dependent. Okay. Now that will help you in understanding this portion of it. People have doubt that it is a third person. Is there is a third person? No. It is a subject only that is doubting thus. The subject that imagines that it is perhaps a third person. Again, it's a manifestation. The manifestation in the thought level of the manifested unit of human being. It is the human, it's the mind who doesn't have the knowledge. Mind has only intelligence. Mind doesn't have the jnaanam. He doesn't know how to reveal things. He only knows how to act upon the reflection of the knowledge, the reflection of the informations given by the indriyas based on the past and present experience. It's a manager. He doesn't know the truth. The mind doesn't know that. So what happens? It's a manifestation of the mind that I, that means the mind where it is installed and is functioning is called the I. The one which is not me, if something else like me, is called he, she, whatever it is, he. If it is not of the same characteristics of, which is beyond or below, that is known as it, that which I cannot define. That, it, and all that, which I cannot define. That which cannot be defined by the mind, which can be defined by the mind, by senses, he says it is he, it is she, it is they. And this cannot define, they call it as it, that, and things, it and that, whatever it is. Same thing now, it and that. So it's only a manifestation. So who is that? It's again, it is a subject which is manifesting this object. As I told you some time back, we are also one of the objects in the universe. If everything is an object, how can I call myself as a subject? Subject is something else, which is not the object. It's called subject. But I call myself as subject when, for the purpose of explanation, is that one of the objects thinks that I am the subject. So when this object is put into the position of the subject, how does that object thinks is called that or it. Is it a fact? It's not a fact. It's only an illusion. Is why it is known as an illusion. It is not truth. Because object can see only object. It cannot be subject. It is pretending as subject actually. Yes, it is pretending as subject. This pretension of AHAM is ahankara. Pretension of AHAM. It is only pretending it is as AHAM. When it is pretending as AHAM, that AHAM sees that as it and he and she, is why it is known as the ahankara. That ahankara which identifies this as it and that, he and she, is not the truth, but that AHAM thinks that I am the subject. Because somewhere some reflex told the mind that the subject is AHAM. This is known. Subject is AHAM. Who is the subject? Brahman is the subject. Is AHAM. Only the reflection of the Brahman can only say that it is AHAM. That which is the projection of the Brahman can say AHAM. Nothing else other than the quality of the Brahman, the nature of the Brahman cannot say Aham. But what happens, this principle is there, that Aham is the one which is manifesting, as I told you, it is the one which is manifesting the other things. So that which is manifesting the other things is called the Aham. So this object, it is a study, it is not a pleasant listening. So when it is an object, first of all it's an object and it is manifested. But even though it is manifested, this object is thinking that I am the Aham. So when it is I am the Aham, Aham has a capacity to manifest other things. Subject has got a capability to manifest objects. So he is projecting the objects. So according to him, that object is he, she and it, which doesn't have any bearing. It is only his own imaginary perception, that's all. Because in his status of that object, he thinks as a subject, and when he is acting, he acts like that, which is not necessarily be true, or which is not true, because it cannot be true. Is why the it. So he says the subject imagines that it is perhaps a third person, is what is true. It's perhaps a third person, that it. So you understand now how now it has got him, it's not only studying the technicality of the Upanishad for the upgrading yourself. Suppose the purpose of, it's not upgrading, transcending. So there is a difference. We have to be conscious that all our activities that we are doing is only based on this principle. We being an object, we presume that it is that, and we confirm whatever I am thinking is right. Even small things, even though we are not right. Sometimes we pretend it is right. Sometimes we insist that is right, even though we know it is not right. So we insist that is right. Sometimes we don't know it is right, so we say it is right. And when we listen to the right, we do not accept right because there is a confusion of these three opinions in the mind already. To overcome these three opinions, all these three opinions have to be renounced. Then only when you hear me, you will say that is right. So long they are there, they will keep on fighting each other and will resist the one which is coming in. So understanding can take place only when you are really ready to understand. We say that the readiness to understand should be there. Readiness to understand is that impartial listening has to be there. There cannot be a precondition. Oh, this I already know. Yesterday only you told me. Yesterday I might have told, but today when I am telling, there will be something else new in that. Like we told the paragraph last class and this class. It's totally different. A lot of information is added to that, you see. I know that, listen. So, an impartial listening, Shravanam, is already the basics of Upanishad listening. Shravanam is listening, but even though it's basics, the basics has to be continued. It cannot be left alone by that. Shravanam is necessary. So the eye perception, what are we talking about? The ego and the self, AHAM. The AHAM perception, the eye perception is purely on the egocentric way in order to execute our karmas. Other than that, we are not supposed to be using it for any of the ownership and proclaiming that something else has something. No, they are not meant for that. It's only for utility of yourself, that's all. For the purpose of execution of karmas for some time. When you are delivering the letter, you are the postman. That's all. End of it. After that, you are finished. So the aham should be used. The ahankara, the ego center should be used only for that purpose. When you realize this, your behavioral pattern, even to your children, your family, your society, your everything will be different. There will be no possessiveness, there will be no ownership of that. And a practical, impartial behavioral pattern can be derived out of it, where it will be most justified to the aham. No. Otherwise what happens? Emotions supersedes your principles, attachment supersedes your principles, attraction supersedes your principles and ideas, and certain manifested relationship you have created that overrules the truth in you. They all cloud your mind. Your mind is already ignorant about the jnaanam, and this again over and over that it clouds on that and makes the mind function according to these clouds. This concept has to be very clear. My dependency is only with the Brahman, because I am manifested from the Brahman, from the Prakriti. So the total dependency should be the Brahman. So my characteristics should be of Brahman, not of the mind, which has got a very lower standard of proving yourself as aham. Posing, making you pose as aham. You want to be a true aham, but you are posing yourself as aham. This posing has to be slowly transcended into the true aham. So the posture has been allowed for you to use the aham for the purpose of doing it. Is why even the Shastras said that aham brahmasmi. There also an aham has been used. Even though he says I am the Brahman, but still he says the Aham. Still he says the Dvaita Siddhantam. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Brahman. No? Aham Brahma. This is Dvaitam. It's not Advaita Siddhanta, it's a Dvaita Siddhanta. But only for the purpose of attainment of the Advaita Siddhanta, the Dvaitam has been used. Understand? Aham Brahmasmi. Same way, the usage of Aham, or the consciousness of Aham, or the consciousness of the I, me, I, has been given to you only for the purpose of executing these things, but be conscious always that I am the manifested Aham of the true Brahman. So my characteristic should be that of Brahman, not of manifested Aham from the mind, should be in us, in our mind always. This is what I said. The Guru should always be there. He is doing it. I am witnessing. So the Aham who is executing the karma, he is executing it. The karma happens from him. He is witnessing it. So the result-oriented karmas will not be there. You understood? It's akarma. It becomes the akarma. Then only you will get moksha from the karma mukti. Then only the true aham in you can be revealed. The true me can be revealed. This is known as self-realization. Many people use it as the self-enlightenment, self-awakening. Whenever I say self-awakening, means inside me there is a self which is not awakened, so I would like to awaken that self, and that will become the me. There is again the Dvaita Siddhanta comes, there the false ego of the Aham still persisting and overrules all the ideas of the Brahman invading me. Is it not? When I say self-consciousness, self-awareness, self-awakening, it's like that. Many people use that. Self is the light. The words are true, but how we understand is absolutely wrong, because the perception of the self itself is wrong. So if I say the self-illuminating, Swayam Prakasham, how is the Swayam Prakashito? That's the truth. It's the truth. I'm talking about the understanding of the mind. When I say Swayam, immediately I barrier myself, I bound myself by the time, space and the vastu. I am limited. No, I get myself limited. Even when I do yajna, which is meant for removing me from that aham to the total aham, the absolute aham, that Brahman. Even when I do the yajna, I am bound by only small yajamana. Aham samarpayami, tritam samarpayami, dhupam samarpayami. Aham samarpayami. To whom are you doing the oblation? To self. Again, that self-agni, has to be identified. Aham has to be identified. Is what he is telling. So is it clear? That it is everywhere. That it is everywhere. It's not a third person. There is no first person, second person, third person. Because the subject identify as the first person. We also use in our language that writing in the letter as a first person. Bhagavad Gita is in first person. Because he says aham. Even so, subject can be said to be everywhere. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. It's why he is making us understand that in this shloka, First he told that Se evadastat sa upanistat. I am everywhere, upar, niche, this, that, left, right and all that. Then he said that the same thing, athato, like that. Like he is on top, above, he is down, he is left, he is right, he is on Dakshina, he is on Uttara, like that. Athato ham karadeshayeva. When I translate that into aham, aham evadistat, aham uparistat, aham paschat, aham purasat parasattat, aham dakshinaanaha, aham uttaranaha, uttarataha, aham evadam sarvam iti, aham sarvam iti. Like this, when you, if he can be everywhere, it's a beautiful way of explaining. Beautiful way of explaining. I liked it. Who? I am the subject. Subject saying, now you will understand better about the exact translation of the shloka. The subject is saying, he is uparistat, he is above, he is below, he is paschat, he is dakshinat, he is uttarat. He is, I am saying he is everywhere. If he is everywhere and he being everywhere can be seen by me, where am I? I am also everywhere. Is what he is explaining, is it not? Now what I am saying is that, oh, that is everywhere, this is everywhere, Brahman is everywhere. This is what he is coming to. Brahman is everywhere, jnaanam is everywhere. Who is telling this? The subject I am telling. When I know and I am telling that he is everywhere, he is on the left, he is on the right, he is down, he is below, he is up, he is left, he is right, I am also over there. So he says, Athat, I am there, I am here, I am here, I am here, I am here. So where is the he then? When I am there everywhere, where is the he? When I can say he is everywhere, I am everywhere. That is why I am saying he is there. If I am not there, how can I say he is there? So the he, so therefore, solving the problem. Therefore, the he what you are mentioning is only a manifestation of the subject and the object by you. Actually the he is not there. You are there, but you are telling, you are looking at you and say that he is there. Like you are looking at the mirror and saying that I am in the bedroom. It's not beautiful? Very nice. When I am saying he is there, that means you are there. Why don't you understand this? Is what he is telling. When you are saying he is there, and that is ahankara, ego, and when you are saying I am there, is aham. Aham, ego and the self. You understand now? This ego and the self is what he is trying to tell. Well, it's not, I have not finished, I have just started this first paragraph. We will go first, second. Continue from the third paragraph of section 25. The ego and the self. This has to be little in detail. We have to understand the ego and aham, because it's a very main crux of Upanishad actually. What this is in, we are out of this, the death trap. Lose. This if you understand. That's why he has told you all this, to make you understand what is this. It was very important to know everything. Only having known everything, this can be perceived in the proper form. even though this only has to be understood. But this, without this, all this cannot be understood. It's not possible because our readiness will not be there. Still our mind will intrude, otherwise what will happen? Our mind will start intruding into you and questioning and doubting you. See? The doubts come only when there is no knowledge. It is not because of not understanding. The doubt, according to Vedanta, samshayatma vinashyate. There is no second option. What is it? Upanishad said? Samshayatma vinashyate. That's all. There is no second option. When there is a samshaya, it's a vinasha. What is a samshaya here in English? Doubt. It's not the doubt what we are normally using the doubt. Samshaya means looking at the knowledge as samshaya. Looking at the Brahman as a question mark. No, what is this? It's not there. That's samshaya atma. There is no way he has to undergo the process of punarapi jnanam. Punarapi maranam. So it's called samshaya atma. That is why the principle of we will be talking about it, which we have told you long back. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. When you think of Brahman, when I said that, like, when I say He is there, He is that, He is here, He is there, when I start saying I am there, I am here, I am everywhere, Sarvavyapi, when I start saying that, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. When I say He is there, He is there, He is there, He will be there, I will never be there. It's the meaning of Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Not only that, you understand? It depends upon your person. So whatever you are perceived, so the perception should be perfect. It's not understanding, no. It's a revelation, should be right. No. It has to be revealed from you, within you. No. It's not that pretension of understanding or revelation. We undergo, it's only very minor, the hairline difference between pretension of understanding and understanding. Will exactly look like replica of understanding, you see. And we also, I think I have told about this earlier in some other substance. It will look exactly same. I start feeling it. Yes. I start experiencing, that's a fact. Otherwise, how can I experience it is your question. It's very true. It's only when I said that about the lower consciousness and higher consciousness problem, I think about myself on that. And you feel exactly same. Well, we know it's only a feeling, you see. It's not knowing. It is a feeling. There's a difference. The feeling will always give you that it is that you know knowing. You feel fear in you. You're experiencing fear. It's not a false. You're experiencing it. There is a fear. You sweat. You have got all the symptoms, and you are experiencing it as a fear. Actually, it is a perception, manifestation created by your mind. It's not the true fear. There's nothing called fear. That's a thing. It's not a true fear, but it's a manifestation by the mind based on certain conditions. When the condition has changed by the mind, the fear is gone. If fear has to be permanent, if it is fear, it has to be permanent. That is why Anantham, Anadi, Anantham. That which has got a beginning has got an end also. So that which has been created by your mind, it has an end also. So whenever you think something that it is that means it is a manifestation. That which is manifested will have to come to an end. You cannot have the same experience once again. Did we have? the same experience of the same object, same subject, same event. No. Why? Because they are all manifestations. That's why today is different from tomorrow, yesterday is different from today, or today is different from yesterday. Even though the days are same, number of hours are same, sun rises in the morning, sets in the evening, everything goes on as it is, but my experience is totally different. Because I am manifesting every moment. This imaginary manifestation I misunderstand as AHAM and my ego. This perception has to be changed. So this can be changed only by identification of the true Shravana. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Identification of Atman as Sarvabhuteshu Atmanam Sarvabhedeshu Atma. Om Shanti.